Hello everyone, welcome to another Transformers and other toy haul vid. Trying to think what I was going to say there. Before I get fully onto all the bits I've picked up, just want to do a little shout out to Stu, the Mighty Grimlock. I know he and a couple of his kiddies had a bit of a car accident the other day, so sending him a bit of a get well soon. I know he's got some whiplash, and he said he's sort of like feeling a little bit better with it, but I know what that's like. I've had it myself a couple of times, so I just wanted to get that little shout out done. I would do another shout out about something else, but I will wait probably for the next video, or even do a little special video for a certain event what's going on for Matt Norris at the minute. But obviously until I know everything's fine and it's actually sorted, I won't actually do a shout out at the moment. But I am thinking about him in the back of my mind there. It's there. He'll know what I mean. Right, onto the haul vid. Now, it's probably been a few weeks that I haven't actually managed to get a haul vid out due to work at the time I've got to actually do filming. I have been to boot fairs over the last couple of weeks. There was a bit of bad weather the other week and I didn't get a huge amount of stuff because a lot of the people gave up even before I'd got there and either didn't turn up at all or packed up soon after setting up. But I have managed to pick up some rather fantastic little retro bits. Now, the other week when it was wet, I managed to find a little retro Battle Beast, which I believe is a laser beast, and that's actually shown up quite well in the actual image inside his chest. Rather than being a rub sign like the earlier ones, it was actually sort of reliant on light coming through the back, a little bit like light piping. But pretty good little figure. Again, I can't even remember how much it cost. It cost next to nothing, so really pleased to find a little Battle Beast. They are kind of linked to Transformers, so I sort of pick them up if I see them. The next thing I saw, which was actually a bag of these bits, and they were actually, I think it was something like 50p, no more than a quid anyway. And there was a whole bag of, if I can actually find them, now I know one of them's got the wrong mask on, if anyone says anything, but 7 mask figures. So I'll quickly show you. That I believe is the mask for a female mask figure who isn't actually in this set, which is strange, but I know that's the bad guy. Can't think of their names. I wasn't so much into mask when I was a kid. There's that one. That one with his correct mask. That one, little Indian guy, and that guy where I think I've actually already got a figure of this guy that I've picked up before, and there was this one as well. So really pleased. Unusual to find mask stuff, don't often sort of see it, so just to find a little plastic bag and they were all in there together, and the woman just said, oh yeah, I think it was a quid, something like that. Oh, you know, quid for those. And thought, bonus, I'll have them. And that was excuse me. And that was about it for that week. Now, this week there was a lot of boot fairs on because obviously it was a bank holiday. So rather than it just being the Sunday, which the Sunday had 4, and then one of them actually did another boot fair again on the Monday as well, so effectively I had 5 boot fairs to have a go round. Got round to all of them, and like I say, managed to pick up some good bargains. Well, I hope they're bargains. First of all, I'll go non-transformer first of all, because there is quite a few odds and ends to get through. Now the first thing that I'll show you is just a quick look. There's a couple of little games. Now, myself and my other half, we like our sort of retro board games a little bit now and again. you get in the mood to have a go playing them. And I picked up from the same person a Blockbusters Gold Run card game. It all seems to be there, the instructions are there and everything, so not bad at all, and she is quite a fan of Blockbusters. And the other one is a very classic 70s game, not so much a board game, but it is a game, and it's Mastermind, which I'm sure anyone from my generation knows. If I show you the thing on the side, you'll see what it's like. It's a sort of guessing game with different colour pins. I had that when I was a kid. Well, our family had it, probably it was my older sisters, but we had that, and God knows what happened to it years ago. So it's the sort of thing to find one, and it's in fantastic condition. Everything's there, the instructions are there, and it's like it's hardly ever been used. So absolutely cracking find. And they were 50p each, so there's no way I was missing the chance to pick them up. Now, as I was going around, this was at the same boot fair. Again, not quite complete, but I couldn't miss picking it up after getting the other guys. I actually managed to find a mask vehicle. And as soon as I saw it, I realised it was a mask one. Again, missing a couple of little bits. There's a couple of bomblets or sort of guns or something like that that it should have on the what would be the wings when this opens, and a little spoiler on the back. And obviously it's missing its figure. But apart from a little bit of yellow sun fade into the wheels, they've sort of gone a sort of creamy colour, where I think they should be bright white, and a little bit of chrome wear on the top. It weren't bad, and I think I paid something like 50p, something like that for it. And like I say, there's no way I was going to turn that down, because you know, to find mask vehicles is not that common. If I release the wing parts, you see the stickers are still on there as well. So really cracking little thing, folds out to become like a jet. So great, you know, with the little figures. I'm not going to start collecting masks too much. I say that now, and then I'll find the rhino, I expect. But yeah, I'm terrible for the old vintage toys. So I've sort of ended up picking up bits of mask now as well. The next bits I'll show you. I managed to find a couple of vintage Masters of the Universe. Now again, I technically don't collect these, but for the price they were, I can't turn them down. And I did actually say to my other half, I know I've passed bits on to Matt Norris before, but these bits, I sort of kind of, as soon as I saw them, I kind of thought I'll keep them, because I just sort of, I remember these ones as a kid, and I think I played with a mate's ones when I was younger, and they're not necessarily worth a fortune, but they are sort of cracking little couple of bits. Now the first bit I picked up was, I believe it's Stridor, which is like He-Man's horse. Now pretty much complete, other than like a red face shield part which goes on the front of there, but it doesn't really detract too much the fact it's missing. Everything else is in pretty much perfect condition. The stickers are still on the sides, tails there, guns there, all pretty nice. I'll give it a bit of a clean because it was a little bit mucky. It's obviously been in someone's loft, but yeah, fantastic thing. 50p, again, it's ridiculous, but I kind of, you know, that's kind of quite nice. I kind of keep that. And then, although I've got, I think the original one of minus some of these bits, I actually managed to find a different version of a figure I've got, but it's also my other half's favourite character, so again that's part of the reason I'm going to carry on keeping it. And it's actually Skeletor, but a later version. I think it was something like a claw one, where if you move him, he does his arms, and he's supposed to have like claw attachments. I also managed to find also sort of with him, but so I added it to it and paid for it in one go. He-Man's shield as well, but I mean he can keep that. But again, he needed a really good clean. He was a bit mucky, but I mean his face paint is like new, and there's only a tiny bit of wear on the metallic-y paint on his chest armour sort of stuff. Again, fantastic, and I think he cost me something like 50p. Again, I'm not going to turn it down. I'm amazed none of the dealers had sort of go around the boot fairs had seen him and picked him up. So again, really chuffed with that. And still not quite onto the actual Transformer bits yet. I also found, and again I can sort of blame Action Jackman for this, I think, a couple of figures. Again, I think they were something like 10p each or something ridiculous like that. I managed to find a couple of the Indiana Jones figures. They're from the sort of Crystal Skull sort of time, so they're modern, but I thought just for a laugh, they kind of fit in quite well with this sort of Star Wars and the Action Force sort of size figures. Just for a laugh, I got them too. And that leads me quite nicely on to some more Action Force and G.I. Joe figures that I got. Now, the first ones I'll show, the G.I. Joes. Now, I did actually pick this guy's gun up, and it's actually from the same seller. I was looking for it again because I sort of kicked myself afterwards that there were some damaged ones. And from the lot I got before, I should explain. So I saw the guy again at this other boot fair again, and I thought, I'll have a look, because you never know, he might still have it. And he didn't to start with, and I brought some other odds and ends, some weapons and that. I won't go through all of those, but there's some G.I. Joe weapons. And I thought, oh, well, he's obviously sold or chucked away the broken ones, because no one was interested last time. And I went round the boot fair, and then I came back past again, and I thought, well, I'll just have another quick look on his stall, just in case, because he hadn't quite finished unpacking. And lo and behold, they had emptied the other box with the damaged ones into the box that I already searched through, because I instantly saw this particular figure, and again he was broken because his O-ring had gone, which I know is a common fault with G.I. Joes and that. But my other half had picked me up some loom bands, which make a good sort of replacement if you tighten them up enough. So I actually managed to find, and I'd already got his gun from last time, this figure. Now I'm trying to remember his name. It's something like Sci-Fi, I think. Again, I've had to repair him, put him back together, but I found his legs and his waist and in his upper body, but that still had his backpack on as well, so it was great. But I'd already brought that gun the last time, so he's virtually complete other than just a little bit of thin black tubing, which I'll probably be able to find something to replace that. So really chuffed with him. I also managed to get, where I was looking before, and I believe somebody gave me the information whose backpack I was after, sort of couldn't find out whose backpack it was, and somebody mentioned it on my other vid. A guy called Countdown, and again he was broken, and I found his parts, so I've put him back together, and he's got his backpack on now, so he's got that done properly. I think that's right. Don't quote me on that. On the name, that is, because I'm, like I say, I'm not as familiar with the G.I. Joe ones. I also picked up this guy, which again could be Countdown, but he's something like that anyway. But he's a sort of spacey type one. At least he's got his helmet as well. I might well have his backpack somewhere. I'll have to research some of these figures a little bit better and find out what they're missing. And I also got this guy, who again I thought possibly wasn't actually a G.I. Joe at first, because he's kind of got that corpse sort of look around him, as in corpse, as in Army Corps. But yeah, he is actually a vintage G.I. Joe as well, so again really pleased. Didn't find his weapons or accessories, but I was going to swear then, got a ton of backpacks, weapons. Some what don't really go with this necessarily this age figure. Some of them are actually from newer ones, so maybe he had some more before and people snapped them up. But I've got a hell of a lot of weapons and that now, so I can at least give them something to hold when I eventually get them all displayed. Now, this is where I now need somebody's help, I picked up a couple of other figures. Now this one again I think is a bit of a kit bash job, what the kid had done. I haven't been able to trace the upper body for this guy to know who he is. I'm guessing the lower legs might not be his, but it's possible they are. But also he's got one odd arm. You'll notice one's got almost like a forearm cover, and the other side is actually probably what he should have, which is just a bare arm. Could not find that one listed, so if anyone knows who he is and why he seems to have a missing arm, you know, if you drop me a line, do a message, let me know who that guy is. It may well be that he's part G.I. Joe, part something else, so I'd love to know though, because I couldn't find that one. I got this figure who the body is definitely G.I. Joe, but the head is not a G.I. Joe figure that I could find anyway. So if somebody knows whose head that one is, so I might be able to one day replace it and put the right one on the figure. But still a pretty tidy little figure anyway, and he sort of works, even though he looks a little bit old to be running around. Sort of fighting Cobra. And again, this one is a bit of a mishmash. I've actually put it together just to keep the bits sort of like together. There was this guy. Now I believe the upper body and the waist are correct to be together. The legs look like they should be Snake Eyes' legs, which might well be why there was a Snake Eyes head on another sort of kit bash sort of figure. But again, the head, I couldn't place which figure that one's supposed to be with. It's not supposed to be on that body anyway. So again, any help with that would be a bonus. And then the last one, what I'm not sure about, not even sure if it's a G.I. Joe, to be honest. I can't find anything too much as a maker's sort of thing. It's vintage. I think it's got 1986 on it, and it's something like Lynn or L/N Toys Limited, so it's not a Hasbro figure. But if anyone knows what that figure is, he's got a little symbol with a 6 on it on his chest on the side there. Limbs are done very similar to G.I. Joe, but without the elbow swivel. But he's cast metal for most of him. His head's plastic, and these arms are plastic with the metal pins. But the lower legs, if I turn that, you'll see where the paint's come off. The legs are actually metal at the bottom, then go back to plastic, and then the whole torso is metal. So very curious to know who he is, but unusually as well, done slightly different on the waist. He's got a waist swivel, but again both parts are metal, so it's very stiff, very heavy little figure. But for the life of me, I don't know what toy line that's from, so if anyone else knows, again that would be a bonus. But I got him because he was with the other guys, and I figured vintage figure, it could be something, it could be nothing. But like I say, he's a weighty thing. Now, getting past them to ones I know. Now, I was dead chuffed, and I think he cost me 20p. I found a vintage SAS soldier from the Action Force line. I've given him a MP5K, which is more right to actually what he should be holding as a soldier than his original gun, but it sort of works for him. I've also managed to pick up another Red Shadow figure, which is in pretty good tidy condition. He's got most of his skull and crossbones on his helmet and that, so pleased with him. Always like picking up the enemy ones. I've picked up a Q-Force figure, again pretty tidy condition. A Q-Force, now I'm going to sort of say diver because he's got like the bare feet, but I think he's the guy who's in charge of like the diving platform or the sea line, something like that, from Q-Force. So again, really chuffed to get him. And another Space Force figure, which again, really like him. I do like the vintage, more the vintage Action Force rather than G.I. Joe out of the two. I know they don't pose as well, but they're quite the classic figures. I did pick up in amongst the lot with the figures, slightly damaged, but another Action Force backpack, and it does sort of still fit on the figures okay, even though it's got the clip broken on one side. There's a couple of parts from the Z-Force flamethrower, I think it is, another vehicle or accessory vehicle that I want to try and get, so if I find parts I might be able to build myself up one. I also managed to get one of the vintage Tommy guns, so that will go with the SAS Commando, or one of the Commando figures, because it's the right gun for him, so that's great. And then I've actually managed to find, and he was dirty as hell, absolutely filthy, and I've given him a clean and he's like almost like new. I managed to find a Snow Trooper, which is probably, if it wasn't the first few figures of Action Force, it was the next line. Really great, and as you can see, brilliantly white, not yellowed at all, so absolutely chuffed to find him. Been after one of these for a while, and the only ones I've seen have been beaten up and people want stupid money for them, so really happy to pick him up. Unfortunately no accessories with those, but give it time, I might find them. And I think that's all the non-transformery bits that I've picked up. Now moving on to Transformer parts. Now first thing I've got, which is bigger, one of the items but not complete, I managed to get, is it Armada? Or Energon? Armada I think, but the darker blue and red Prime, missing his chest part and missing the grill part on top, and I think there's some sort of clear stacks which are like arm weapons, but I know he's the combiner what goes with the trailer section, and that makes the bigger one because obviously he's got his bigger Prime head there. Haven't tested the electrics yet because I haven't got any of the small batteries to hand, but all in all he's pretty much there, and it's the sort of one where it was worth picking it up. Again, I think he was something like 50p, but I picked him up because the bulk of him's there. If I find a damaged one but it's got the other bits, I'll be able to sort him out and at least have a decent sort of version of the figure. I do occasionally see the trailers for these, but they're often beaten up and that, but I might well pick one up if I see a good one, so I can at least make the bigger Prime out of him. Now, as far as more junkers, I also got, and this was from the other week when it was actually raining, which was kind of made it worth going out for, a junker G1 Astra Train. The only thing he's missing is his side part there, which is that part, which is the side panel come train wheels. So that's missing off there, which is just the pinned on part, and one of these little wing bits, which you quite often see broken off on these guys, which is the same as that side. Now I only really got him to, I suppose you say, give him a good home, but also for spare parts as much as anything. So I'll probably hang on to him and chuck him in with all my spare part box and that. But it's quite unusual to find, and again, he was actually in with, when I paid for the Battle Beast and the mask figures, I got him for next to nothing. So, like I say, gave him a good home. The robot mode's near enough complete, so it's all good enough anyway for at least a display mode if I wanted to do, because I've got a complete one. I can always display them in a couple of different modes then. But getting on to complete bots, or near complete bots in one case, but I'll come to him last because he's bigger. Start with the smaller stuff. I found another box shot, which is a lovely little version of Shockwave, which all pops out like so. Really like that one. Don't think I've got another Shockwave one, but that actually is quite a good little bit of fun, quite a good alt mode as well. So I'll keep him, add him to my box shots. I found, now I think it's supposed to be, it's either a version of Blackout or it's sort of Grind, or the sort of black Cyberverse version. So again, he was complete and in nice condition, so I picked him up. I also found another vintage G1 Stunticon, which is quite apt with all the new Combine Awards ones coming out at the minute. He is in pretty damn near mint condition. Very, very light speckling of rust on like the odd wheel hub, but that's it. It's almost like he's never been stickered. He's still got his rub sign, was perfect. So he may well never have been properly played with when it was new. But really nice, stiff joints, everything's fine on that. So again, I'll probably keep him as either to use as a part of Minosaur when I display him, or even to have like just in the alt mode, to have like them in sort of several modes. So yeah, definitely worth hanging on to that one. He's a really good little figure. The next one I got was I think they're Cyberverse Commander class figure of Beast Hunters Prime, and again was complete, got his instructions as well, but it's got his weapons. The only thing, I'm not sure whether he was supposed to have his shield weapon or not on top, but I should really look at the instructions, it would probably tell me. But other than that, it's a good little figure anyway. It's quite a bit of fun. He's okay. There was the larger actual Beast Hunters Prime figure, but I wasn't bothered about that because I actually got him boxed, which I got from a boot fair as well. So he was worth picking up just for a bit of fun anyway. Have a smaller one. The next one is actually something I kind of swore I'd never get anything like it, and it's quite apt really that I mentioned Stu at the start of this. The one steppers have started appearing at boot fairs, everybody. Yes, they haven't lasted long in people's homes. So I've got one stepper Twisty Grimlock, however you want to describe him. This could turn into a quick review of him because it won't take long. If I turn it the right way, it helps, doesn't it? There you go. And that's him transformed. But he's all there, and he's in pretty tidy condition for what he is. So I suppose I've got to have something from AOE. But yeah, posability is elbows, so it kind of fits in alright with the G1s as well. But yeah, I think he, what was he, 50p? So everyone who rushed out and paid £8, you should have waited and just brought it second hand. The next ones were actually eBay purchases, and those on the Transformers YouTube community page will have already seen I used a couple for some light piping pictures, but I got a couple of the deployers from Beast Wars, or Beast, was it Beast Machines? Beast Machines, I think they're actually from. So you got Dillo, if I remember rightly, which is my nephew's nickname, and I'm trying to think now. I don't know if I've got that pictures to that. Rav, which is weird that they then used the name for a kid in Prime. But yeah, they're good little bots. They're a bit of fun. I say bots, they're an animal mode but turns into all weapons. A bit limited playability, but they are a bit something different, and they are all complete, so I didn't mind picking them up. They were quite cheap. I also got in the same lot Beast Machine Scavenger as well, who's, as far as I can tell, all complete. A little bit of chrome wear, but I think he's supposed to have that on the claws on the back. But again, a little bit of fun. And like I say, the more unusual little figures like this, what I haven't sort of picked up necessarily at retail, I don't mind finding them sort of for a decent price second hand. They kind of flesh out the collection. My Beast Machine side is quite slim, let's put it that way. It's not my favourite line of toys. But from the same person, I also got a Transformers pop-up book, which is vintage from '86. Now it doesn't have everything. There's supposed to be a game, and also you can make a almost like a card star screen out of parts, which would have been nice if it had all been there. But the actual book itself is in pretty tidy condition, and most of the bits in it work. There's quite a good space battle scene, if I can find it, where you've got Ravage leaping out of the page and Starscream flying in. and you can move. I'll find the tab. Where are we? Oh, up here. You can move some of the characters about, so like if they're flying around in a space battle. I think Prowl's just spinning on the spot for some bizarre reason. But it's kind of reminiscent of the old battle scene on the back of the G1 boxes, so yeah, it's a bit of a laugh, and it's worth picking up. It weren't that expensive, and it's something I ain't got from the vintage stuff, so yeah, I treated myself. Anyway, without waffling on, I'll get to the last bit. Now, he's missing some accessories. I actually haven't had a chance to figure out exactly what, but I know there would be obviously one, if not a couple of little bits what come to mind. Now, for £3, I managed to get Star Wars crossover, Darth Vader, Death Star. Now, to say he's kibble heavy is probably an underestimate. Yeah, he's worse than Unicron in that way. But because of the fact I've got Unicron and I've got Primus from like the Armada time, I just thought, oh, I've got to get the... I mean, he's effectively the last planet former, although it's a moon, or that's no moon. I sort of had to get him, really. Like I say, missing parts. He's obviously missing a lightsaber because he's got a light up fist what does a noise, so that's unfortunately not there. And I'd imagine if he's anything like the other Star Wars figures, there was probably some small figures of like Darth Vader and maybe a Stormtrooper or something like that. So a little bit disappointing in that sense, but the main part of him is all there, so as a figure to display, or displaying him as the planet, or as the Death Star I should say, you can do that fine. I've actually transformed it already, and it's all fine in that way. All the panels are there and everything fits okay. I'm quite chuffed. I took a bit of finding to find the buttons to activate noises and lights and that, but he does still work if I press the right one.
On the dark side. The rebels must not escape. The circle is now complete. The force is strong with you. I find your lack of faith disturbing.
So the actual speech side of it's actually pretty good. So yeah, I like Star Wars, I like Transformers, so again it kind of fits neatly. When I finally get to do my display, he'll fit quite neatly into the lineup. I may display him in figure mode because I like doing him with the voices, because obviously in Death Star mode it's more just firing off the weapon. So I'll probably display him in figure mode, but like I say, the Transformer crossovers with Star Wars ones, they're very kibble heavy sort of figures, but the actual vehicle modes are pretty good. But yeah, he would fit alright into my collection, and like I say, for £3 I ain't going to knock it. I don't know what he would have cost retail, but I'm guessing 30 plus, if not more than that, so yeah, pretty chuffed with that. I think that's pretty much it for my whole vid. I've got something interesting on the way that I've managed to find on the internet, but I shall leave that for obviously when it arrives, but I shall also leave that for another video. I may even have to do a review of it as the initial thing of you seeing it, because I'm rather pleased with what I've found, and you may have got a hint of what could be coming on previous videos a bit further back, but to say it's something I've been looking for is an understatement. I have been checking out, looking on the internet, eBay and stuff like that for it for a while, so cross fingers it won't take too long to arrive, but yeah, rather pleased with myself. So with that little mystery left with you, I shall say thanks for watching. Like I say, thinking about you, Matt and Lisa, and also all the best to Stu and his family when you've had your accident. And I shall hopefully see you again next time. Thanks for watching.